Hi all, welcome to Kaomi Dev Studio. There's been news lately about young children doing dangerous things, walking toward moving cars, eating things off the ground, imitating stunts, all after watching videos on YouTube. And a New York Times investigation in March 2026 found that 40% of the videos recommended to young children on the platform are AI-generated slop. Content made by machines, not people, designed to hold attention and nothing else. Today, I want to tell you the story of one mother who found out what her son was actually watching. The playground at Block 417, late afternoon. Christine is sitting on the bench scrolling through work emails, while her 2-year-old Eric toddles around the sandpit with the other kids. Then Eric walks to the edge of the playground right up to where the path meets the road and just stands there, feet on the curb, eyes forward like he's waiting for something. A taxi comes around the corner and Christine's whole body goes cold. She's off the bench and across the playground before she even feels her legs move, scooping Eric up with one arm while the taxi rolls past. Eric doesn't cry, he just looks at Christine and says one word, car, and then he smiles. Not a scared smile, a happy one, like it was a game. Christine holds him so tight her arms shake, and standing there on the pavement with her son's sandals dangling, she has this thought she can't get rid of. Where did he learn that? Subscribe, because what Christine finds inside her son's YouTube history changes everything she thought she knew about keeping her child safe. Rewind to that morning, around 8,000 Christine's HDB flat, 4th floor. Shoes piled up at the door, rice cooker already going, the whole place smelling like congee. Eric is standing in the kitchen doorway in a yellow shirt that's too big for him, holding a sippy cup with both hands. Christine's laptop is open on the dining table because she's got a client call in 15 minutes, and the slides aren't done. So she does what every parent she knows does. She picks up the iPad from the coffee table, opens YouTube Kids, and hands it to Eric. Here, baby. Sit on the couch, okay? Within seconds, his eyes lock onto the screen and he doesn't look up again. The call runs 40 minutes. When it ends, she peeks over and Eric is in the exact same position, thumb not even moving because autoplay does all the work. And here's what Christine never sees. The first video looks fine, a cartoon cat singing the alphabet, but the letters don't match the sounds. L plays while the screen shows R. The next video is a nursery rhyme where an animated baby eats whole grapes, one of the top choking hazards for toddlers, and then dips a finger into honey, which can cause fatal botulism in children under 1. None of this was made by a person who thought about children. A channel called Jo Jo Funland posted 10,000 videos in 7 months, about 50 a day. Sesame Street has uploaded 3,900 in 20 years. YouTube's algorithm doesn't care which is which. It only knows that Eric hasn't looked away. 2 weeks later, same flat, same morning routine. But something is different. Eric is sitting on the living room floor with a stack of wooden blocks. These are the ones Christine's mother brought over last Chinese New Year, hand-painted red and gold. Eric used to stack them for 20 minutes straight, babbling the whole time, knocking them down and laughing so hard he'd fall over. Now he picks one up, looks at it, and puts it down. Then he walks to the couch where the iPad usually sits. It's not there. Eric pats the cushion and says more, just that one word over and over. More, more, more. Christine hands him a picture book instead. Eric pushes it away. A child development expert at the University of Chicago, Dr. Dana Suskind, calls what's happening brain stunt, not brain rot. Because a toddler's brain isn't rotting, it's still being built. Every experience in the first 3 years is wiring together the pathways that will handle language and attention and cause and effect for the rest of their life. And when the dominant experience is AI-generated video with mismatched audio and impossible physics, those connections get built wrong. Not destroyed, built wrong. And that's harder to fix. Christine notices other things too. Eric used to point at the cat next door and say "Meow Meow" with this huge grin. Now he just stares, quiet. He used to dance when Christine played music from her phone. Now he only reacts to the specific jingles from his videos. And then there's the thing at the playground. Walking toward the road, standing at the curb, smiling. Saying car like it was a word he'd practiced. Wednesday night, 10:30, Eric's been asleep for an hour. Christine is at the kitchen table with the iPad, doing something she's never done before. She's opening YouTube Kids and scrolling through the watch history. Hundreds of videos, each one between 30 seconds and 2 minutes, so the count piles up fast. She taps on one. A cartoon child is walking along a road. A car approaches. The child steps aside. The car zooms past in a burst of confetti while a cheerful voice sings "Vroom, vroom." The child claps. The car comes back, over and over. Christine's hands go still on the screen. She keeps going. A group of animated children pick things up off the ground and eat them while everyone cheers. A Learn Colors video where the audio says red while the screen shows blue. A counting song that skips 7 and says 8 twice. And then she finds it, a video almost exactly like what happened at the playground. An animated toddler walks to a curb, stands there smiling, and a car passes close by while music plays. The toddler waves. It loops for 3 minutes. Christine puts the iPad face down on the table and sits there for a long time. She thinks about all those mornings, all those client calls, all those times she said, "Here, baby," sit on the couch and turned away. Christine can't sleep, so she opens her laptop and starts searching. She finds a Fortune article about a 22-year-old in Mississippi named Adavia Davis. Davis dropped out of college, started making AI-generated YouTube videos, and now earns about $700,000 a year. She runs 5 channels, including ones aimed at children. Her daily workload is about 2 hours. She told the magazine, and Christine reads this line twice: "I do everything in my power to trick watch time, because that's the metric that's going to pay you at the end of the day." Trick watch time. That's the phrase that stays with Christine as she lies in bed staring at the ceiling. And then she finds something that makes her sit up. YouTube has a rule that creators must disclose when content is AI generated. But there's an exemption for content that is clearly unrealistic or animated. Since nearly every AI-generated children's video is animated, they all fall through that gap. No labels, no warnings, nothing that tells a parent this was not made by a person who cared about what a 2-year-old might learn from it. Christine closes her laptop. The clock says 1:47 a.m. She looks down the hallway toward Eric's room, and in the dark she can just make out the faint glow of the charging iPad on the shelf. Tomorrow, that iPad is not going on the couch unsupervised. Saturday morning, Christine is on the couch with Eric on her lap, and the iPad is propped between them. This is new. Usually the iPad is Eric's alone. The first video autoplay serves as one of those AI-generated loops. Bright, pulsing, nonsense syllables. Christine swipes away. Eric squirms. Swipe, swipe. Then Christine goes into YouTube Kids settings, finds approved content only, and turns it on. Most of the content disappears. She puts on a Sesame Street video. Eric watches, but differently. His eyes move more. He points at the screen and says, "Bird." Christine nods. "That's Big Bird." Eric looks at Christine, then back at the screen, then at Christine again. He's checking in. He never did that with the AI videos. But the real change isn't better content. It's that the child is no longer alone with it. The next morning during the client call, the iPad stays in the drawer. Christine puts Eric in the high chair with dry cereal pieces and 3 wooden spoons. Eric bangs the spoons for 40 minutes. Tuesday, she puts a shallow pan of water on the kitchen floor with plastic cups. Eric pours water from one cup to another for half an hour, babbling, narrating, making sounds that have rhythm and intention. By Thursday, Eric stops asking for the iPad in the morning. The wooden blocks come back out. Eric stacks 3, knocks them down, and laughs so hard he falls sideways. Christine is pretending to work, but she's watching over her laptop, and her eyes are blurring because this is the sound she forgot. That full-body toddler laugh that takes their whole chest to push out. Sunday afternoon, the playground at Block 417. Christine is sitting on the same bench. The iPad is at home in the drawer, not because it's banned, but because it didn't get asked for today. Eric is in the sand pit with another little boy, and they're filling a bucket with sand and dumping it over and over. And every time the sand falls, Eric squeals, and the other boy squeals back, and they look at each other and do it again. A car passes on the road beyond the playground fence. Eric doesn't look. He dumps the bucket again, and the sand goes everywhere, and the 2 boys dissolve into the kind of laughing that only 2-year-olds can do, where their whole body shakes and they can barely stand. Christine watches from the bench. Her phone is in her pocket. She hasn't checked it in an hour. The bucket fills. The sand falls. The laughing starts again.